Right, Dave. Should be working. Let's check if we're live.
What we got on cues today?
I think it might be just us, unless there's any.
Oh no, I think our Jodes is on cues today.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
Let's bring the comments up as we here. Let's bring the chat. Just wait for a few people to join us.
We are. Do you reckon anyone will join today?
Mm-hmm. I reckon one person will join.
Who do you reckon it's going to be?
Either Andy or Angus or Richard, or it could be Anthony potentially.
Yeah.
Let's see who wins the first comment. Richard.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty damn good.
I mean, I did spread my bets a bit by putting, Andrew and Richard there. Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining. I know we'll have more people joining as we go on, but yeah, cheers to the die-hard EverTrekkers. We got Richard, Andrew, Carl, Bry, Simon. Great to see you on, guys. Apologies, we were away last week, but we're back this week anyway.
We are back.
What are we going to talk about, Dave?
Well, I think this one's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I've been waiting 8 years to talk about this subject.
You've been waiting 8 years.
And I'm waiting 9 years to talk about it again. Today we're gonna. I think today we should. Maybe it's all about the journey. Should have been the title, because
I should have worked on the title.
You should have worked because that's your phrase. It's all about the journey. But no. Well, actually, we're approaching the 8-year anniversary.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
you pulled it out there.
Yeah, the 8-year anniversary of EverTrek.
Yeah.
So we're kind of looking back. Where it began, the milestones, what we've achieved, what everyone else has achieved.
Well, it's the caveman principle, isn't it? To know where you're going, you've got to first look where you've come from. Not as far as cavemen.
I'll be honest with you, it doesn't work on a bicycle, because if you're on a bicycle and you look back, you'll veer off.
Well, luckily, Dave, you're in this trekking today.
This is trekking today, and you can always take a look back. But we're going to talk about the I think the journey. All the. When you think about how many customers have gone on trips in 8 years, how many pictures of Everest, how many cups of lemon honey tea.
We're working out some stats here, and firstly, as Dave said, 8 years since our first trek went ahead, which was in September of 2016, which is pretty nuts actually. Thinking back to the first journey, which was to Everest Base Camp, and we've certainly, I think you're right, it's been one heck of a journey, but also a lot of learns as well. And I think certainly in terms of the trips that we used to do, which were awesome at the time, but they've definitely come on in terms of how we kind of put them together. Certainly in terms of our approaches, it's definitely changed. But also as well, it's also to do our community. We've got a lot bigger community now, and a lot of EverTrekkers. Like Jerome, nice to see you. Nice to kind of see people's journeys, because people come in, and some people come in and they've already done a couple of trips, or some people haven't done any of the trips or haven't been to high altitude. And it's nice then seeing their journey, I think, and also, seeing some people that went in, say, 2017, 2018, and they're still going on our trips now, which is always a good sign. Yeah. We even have a little guest like Anuj, is he still in London?
Anuj, namaste, brother. So Anuj was over. He was visiting. Yeah, he was visiting Wales. He wanted to see what some real mountains look like, didn't he? So we took him to the Brecon Beacons. Hope you're doing well, brother. But it is interesting when I look back at sort of the journey. It's been mad, because it started. It was a bit slow to start, then it really picked up. then the virus happened.
What virus?
Yeah, exactly. And then all the post-COVID stuff that we've done, and all the trips that have been launched since then. And I remember the first time people went on a Kili trip, the first time people went on a Machu Picchu trip, the first time someone went.
And we'll come on to that, because there's a few bits, especially around you always got our best bits, right? I think though, to throw a question out to everyone on the live. I mean, what was your first time you found EverTrek? Was it that you came on Everest Base Camp trip? Did you go on Kili, Machu Picchu? Always interesting to see how your EverTrek journey started.
It was the Tuesday tune.
Not for everyone. Some people were here before. I know the Tuesday tune will be doing that for the best part of over 4 and a bit years. But no, I'd just like to see. Obviously, some people I know, like Bry, we met on a training weekend many moons ago, and like Jerome, very similar as well. It's just interesting to see what was your first kind of experience? Or it could have been, maybe it was just like you emailed us, you wanted to go on an adventure, you hadn't done it before. Like it's just almost Roger Lee, The Darkness, Powderham Castle. Roger, oh my God, that was good, wasn't it? A couple of years ago.
I like The Darkness.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a good gig.
I believe in a thing called trekking.
Yeah, that was a good gig.
That was definitely a good gig. But no, I just interested to see, like, you know, where it started. Jerome was at Google. There we are. So it was good. Always good to find us on Google. Now, this is nothing to do with marketing, by the way. I'm not looking for some stats, but it's great to see.
Yeah, but I am taking a rigorous note.
But I am taking some notes. Yeah. No, exactly. Richard, EverTrek came up when I needed an escape, and EBC came up. Oh, thanks, mate. Well, thanks to you guys to give me that experience. Well, Rich, you know, we're only the facilitators. You know, you go and you're the one doing the walking. You're the one doing the training and getting out there. So fair dues, mate, and well done for getting out there and smashing it. I know you got some more trips to look forward to as well. But yeah, I mean, I suppose let's go back to the beginning then. We'll talk about the caveman stuff. We won't go back to the caveman era. We'll go back to the Yeti era when it first started, when we first started trips. And I think certainly in 2016, you know, I just come back from Nepal, and I remember when I came back and we met in Bill's in the March, and I booked you in, and I remember you were going in the October, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be like next month almost.
Yeah.
Because pretend we're in September 2016 now.
Yeah.
So you were training like you were going into space.
Training like I was going into space. So if
where were you at?
So if this was like the 3rd of September 2016, so I signed up for EBC back in March 2016.
Yeah.
And I was going in October. So this is, I remember I think it was 13th of October or something, 14th of October that I went. So yeah, pretty much like a month away.
Yeah.
To be honest, right now it's a strange place because I've done so many trips since then. Like to try and remember the way I felt. I remember mainly feeling.
Were you excited?
It was more nerves at this stage.
Okay.
Like a month before, the nerves were starting to creep in, because this is something that I wanted to do for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And it was actually happening. First of all, I couldn't believe it was happening, but it was actually happening. It was starting to sink in that in about a month's time, I was going to travel to Kathmandu, and I was going to, you know, attempt this crazy thing and get to Everest Base Camp.
Yeah.
I remember my friends, you know, you would tell them about it, and they'd be like, "You're flying to Kathmandu? Like, what? How's that even happen?" You know, and like the crazy sort of. And then I sat, because I was nervous, I was training, like I was going out for treks like 4 or 5 times a week.
I remember we were up in Brecon Beacons, Banana Brookinghill, we were literally smashing it.
Yeah. And literally like 4 or 5 times a week I was training. I was on the bike all the time.
Yeah.
If it was really bad weather, this is just the way my mind worked. I thought like, well, it might be really bad weather out there. So as soon as it rained, I'd go out for a trek. If it was cold, I'd go out for a trek. You know, and I really wanted to
character building.
I wanted to, and you know me now. Like now, if it's raining, I'm like, nah, I'm staying in.
I know, but getting soft.
Yeah, but at that time though, I wanted to make sure that I was tough enough.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know until you try.
No.
And I'd never been to altitude before. I'd never even been on a skiing holiday. The highest I'd ever been before that, I'm pretty certain, was Penavan.
No way.
I
really.
I hadn't done Snowdon at that point. I hadn't done. Actually, maybe a couple of peaks in Scotland when I was a kid might have been higher than Penavan, but I'd never been to altitude before, ever. So I was really sort of thinking, So I was really thinking, like, how am I going to react to the altitude? All the questions were buzzing through my head, all the ones that everyone gets. And then, do you know what? There comes a time when I thought, do you know what? Screw it.
Just do it.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put one foot in front of the other, and I'm just gonna go out there.
Good man.
And just hell for leather, and I'm gonna go for base camp.
Yeah.
And
I know some of the guys here. And Barry, welcome to your second Tuesday tuning after the last con, now exploring the potential locations and treks. But as Barry there, second time. Thing is, it's interesting, isn't it? You were the kind of, even though you'd already been looking at Everest years before, maybe like some other peaks as well. And then suddenly you were booked on to do Everest. It's mad then how over the next kind of few years then, how many times then you went out.
No, yeah,
it was absolutely crazy.
That's the crazy thing, because after I'd been to Everest Base Camp, I think I realized that because it had been a passion of mine since I was a kid, you know, and I'd always wanted to, like, if I could rewrite my life, I would go and be a mountaineer, I think. Yeah. But I love the old style stories, you know, like they saw a peak, never been climbed before, and they just try and work it out, and that daring do, and that sort of feeling.
I can imagine you wearing tweed.
Yeah, no, yeah,
going up there,
exactly.
And not disappearing into the mist, never be seen again. Hopefully come down, but I could definitely tweed me.
Yeah. So it's mad. Like I do have that sort of romantic vision of mountaineering. I don't think that's ever really left.
Yeah.
And when I went to EBC, obviously it was very, it wasn't the 1950s. It was a very different experience. But there are times, where like no matter how busy it is, I'll peel off to the side or I'll wait. Or I remember one time, it was when we got to Dingboche after the acclimatization day. We'd come back down. And we'd go down about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then it was about 4 o'clock. I thought I'm going to wander back up on my own.
Okay.
So I wandered back up just slowly to the plateau.
Yeah.
And I just sat there looking at like Ama de Blam, and I thought,
beautiful.
And if you just look at the mountains and the hills on my own, nothing but the sound of like the wind, the mist coming in, and I thought like that's the same view they would have had.
Yeah.
That is, and so like
same mountains, mate.
Yeah. So in a way, if you just look at the peaks.
Yeah.
And you look at the sky and you look at like the horizon and you think to yourself, that's the same view. So I get a very like, I don't know, mushy view of it like that. And then I like to pretend.
That's nice though, isn't it? Because it's part of the memories.
In my mind then I'm thinking,
yeah,
oh wow, this is just like it was. Like I'm just like, I could do it. And then when I got back from EBC, it was amazing. Like I was getting up earlier in the mornings, I was doing stuff and
it helped you.
I don't know, like lots of people go to Nepal and then when they come back they say, oh, it like stayed with me, the feeling like that is true and it's never really left.
Yeah.
I might not feel it as strongly as I did the day I got to Kathmandu or the day I got back, but it's still there and it's still probably my favorite place in the world.
It's interesting as well, and cheers, Dave. It's great because Dave was the very first EverTrekker.
EverTrekker Zero,
which was amazing. But just listening to Simon there discussing with Rach, then I wanted to do EBC. Googled it, did some research, like the Sound of the Guys videos, personal, helped me drag me out of a dark place. Thank you, EverTrek. Simon, fantastic, mate, fantastic. Same with Bri as well. Did a bit of web surfing. EBC with a company, choosing to go to EBC with a company called EverTrek. Best decision ever because you guys looked after us when we got stranded in Nepal.
I remember
that day very well. It's mad. That was 4.5 years later. It's crazy.
I remember Brian, and I think he was on the plane or something like that, and there was a picture of him on his way to Kathmandu cracking open a beer. I think I remember. Do you know what beer he had?
On the plane?
Yeah.
On the way to Nepal?
I'm pretty certain this is a true story.
Any idea of
I think it was a
company?
And there's a bottle of Corona.
Corona?
I'm certain he did. I'm certain.
Ominous.
I am certain I have this memory in my head of Bri drinking a bottle of Corona on his way to EBC.
We'll have to find that picture somewhere.
Not knowing he was going to get stranded there by the old.
Well, none of us knew, did we? I don't, and I know we're kind of skipping ahead because we were in kind of 2016, but bloody hell, 2020, what a year, right? I mean, 2021 was a bit of a dick as well, wasn't it? But it was hella. But I loved it. They got like people like Bri, especially a bunch of EverTrekkers are still around the community now, and it's amazing. And cheers, Des. Massive congrats. Thanks, mate. No, it's been a mad 8 years, and I know this is the first. Obviously, we got plenty. We only just started September, so there's going to be a whole month of celebrations.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of stuff planned, but we thought we'd start today on the live. You still got that photo, mate. You should get that one framed.
I'm certain. I don't know why, but it's like like things that stay with you.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that and thinking that was funny.
You know what stayed with me was the picture of the guys after they completed the trek, and they were stuck in Kathmandu 10 days. And they were walking around Kathmandu with their masks on, all EverTrek t-shirts. Next time I see them, they're on the bar, and I was just those kind of it was mad because Tamil looked like a ghost town. There was nothing there, and Bri, you probably explain it better than I can, but it just looked like really eerie in terms of being in Kathmandu with no one there, because normally it's like hustle and bustle and it's mad. It must be a crazy time.
You know, a picture always stays with me. After we completed the training weekend, Bri stripped down to his undercrackers and took a picture in front of your truck.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was the one where I think you ran down with John. They ran down the Roman road.
That's right. Bloody show-offs. That's what they are.
I think those days, those days might be gone for John, at least.
Not for Bri. He's still running.
He's a maniac.
Jerome's asking, PTH nominations. Yeah, British Travel Awards. Have you guys won? Well, we'll find out in November. So obviously we're nominated. So yeah, we'll find out near the time, I suppose. So still votes. Definitely give us a wee vote. If I'll try and Jody, if you can dig out the link, share it on the comments. That'd be amazing. Yeah, just to obviously, if you have enjoyed EverTrek over the years, obviously in the last 12 months, we're up for 2 awards this time. The best sports and activity company, which is sporty, isn't it? Trekking. A best adventure holiday company. They got rid of the trekking bit. I was always devastated, but see that award up there? That's British Travel Award. 21 and 22. That's the last ever best trekking company.
It's the one that means the most, but it's not the most impressive to look at.
Ah, mate, it's what it means.
I know. I always felt that when you first brought it in, and you were like, "Look what we won, Dave." I was like, "Well,"
it's always that balance between quality and quantity. And I think if people gauge awards by size, maybe they're using the wrong calculator. Because I think what that means is a lot different to the size.
No, I agree. It's not necessarily the size. It's also the cheapness.
It's sustainable. It's wood.
I know. It's a renewable. It's a renewable resource. You know, it's a sustainable resource. So I'm with them on it. You know,
but hey, I'd love a Champions League size.
That's what I'm thinking. You put the effort in for all those years. I want to lift. Like, you know, sometimes when you see the Formula One drivers, they got to go like and like lift it up.
Well, it's
But anyway,
it's heavy on the heart, not necessarily on the hand.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But no, it's a good.
Thanks, Carl, for sharing the link as well. See, Carl's on it with the links already. Like, he's on it.
Jody's going to be like, "Excuse me, Carl." Actually,
well, she did. She got it there.
Yeah. But he's taken. That's her responsibility.
He beat it by 4 seconds. It's pretty good, Carl. He was on it.
That's because of Jody's internet connection.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But right, yeah. So going back, so the time obviously we had 2016. To be fair, we only ran trips in Nepal then. You know, we hadn't started the trips in Peru, in Morocco, in Tanzania, in France, Italy, you know, Pakistan, all the other countries, you know, Argentina. It's mad thinking about the journeys we've had. But yeah, Nepal was definitely where it all started. And it's still a very, very large part of our mind, isn't it? I think even on a daily basis, you walk around the office when you got to see prayer flags. And, you know, it clearly Nepal is where a lot of EverTrek's soul exists, and it will always exist. You know, going forward, and that's why in September. So essentially, you might have seen on the website, but we are to celebrate people who want to go back to Nepal, and we're doing this just for Nepal trips. And we thought a little bit of a ring to it, but anyway, celebrate 8 years. You get £108 off any new booking to go to Nepal. So if you type in EverTrek 8 as the code when you book in, you'll get £108 off. So yeah, just something for September if you're thinking about booking an EverTrek trip. Also as well, don't forget, there is some free kit out there. So when you land, you get your t-shirt. This is in Nepal. You get your buff. Obviously, you get your duffel bag, your 80-litre duffel bag when you arrive. And also as well, you get free hire of your sleep bag and down jacket as well if you need it.
Yep.
Oh, and a sale's done.
Actually, they're completely free as well. You get a life-changing experience.
What, with unlimited altitude?
With unlimited altitude, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. We pay just to get you to EBC. It's just a journey.
Do they get free accommodation?
But the experience is something is unique to the individual.
But they get, what was it, 11 nights free accommodation?
11 nights free accommodation, yeah.
Just for booking on?
Yeah, just for booking on, yeah. So basically, we get you to EBC, and so you pay us to take you to EBC, but for free, you get a guide, porters, 11 nights accommodation, all your meals, purified drinking water, views of Everest, Tenzin Hillary Hotel, Tenzin Hillary statue, the Hillary Bridge, Everest View Hotel. All of that's completely free.
But I don't think the statue is going to fit in my hand luggage. What am I going to do?
Well, you can buy a model of it. You know?
Fair.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's amazing what you get for free once you book onto the trip.
So Andrew, literally, that is like there's nothing there in his comment that we can see. It's like literally silence.
Yeah,
it's as if he's like, how can the laughs have finally. It's definitely internet connection.
Yeah.
No, brilliant.
Andrew must be in the valleys as well.
No, he's not. He's up in northern England. He's bottom of the Tyne, isn't he? So he's up towards Newcastle way. So he's not far from there. But no, obviously started in Nepal, and then we had loads of EverTrekkers come back, and and clearly had a decent time, and they were like, look, you know, might not necessarily want to go back to Nepal. Lots of people do, but other people were like, I've always wanted to do Kili. And actually, what was it? It was 2019 when we first went to Tanzania and kind of set everything up. And then I remember we went out there and we had our first Tanzania trip, I believe, was the one we were on. We went out there and we did Kili, which was February 2020.
February 2020.
It's mad thinking back to that time.
Yeah, no,
literally a couple of weeks before COVID kicked off.
It was in the newspapers when we left, but no one really knew what it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of like you just see these things every now and again. Like a couple of weeks back, it was like Mpox, and that's, you know, not as much in the news now. So you kind of think that's the way it's going to go. And then when we came back, it was like a whole new world. It was like it was huge. But in Tanzania, you don't get a sense of that, you know, because you're not exactly getting your Daily Mirror delivered on the hill. So you know, that's one of the things actually I will say that I love about going on these long multi-day trips is checking out for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you can keep in touch with family and friends and send pictures and stuff, but just dialing the noise down from life is amazing, you know, and that's why I fully believe that if you want to come back from a holiday feeling relaxed and refreshed and ready to go, your best chances are doing something like an adventure.
It leaves lasting impact. And what you said there around, you know, when you went to Dingboche, you went up and you come back down and you went up to the plateau and just sat there.
Yeah.
I think certainly gives you a bit of thinking time. I think any of these, even if we have a group, we all have our little quiet moments where you get to think about why you're there, you know, what you're doing it for, how you're feeling, you know, what your plans are when you get back. Sometimes, you know, it can give you, you know, maybe pivot in life about what you're doing, might be work-wise, might be relationship-wise, might be just your general outlook, you know, and, you know, maybe what Simon said earlier around like one of the best decisions ever, and you know, who was it? I think it was it Simon as well? That helped me drag me out of a very dark place, like things like that, you know. And I think we can all connect with that, because I think as individuals, you know, we're all going through our own journeys in this one life we have. We get one ticket to this journey, and you know, you want to make the most of that ride. And you know, I think sometimes it does take someone or some experience to kind of take kind of stock about where you are, about before you.
I agree. I see Jodie, she says the same thing. No signal for a while was lovely. Yeah. Simon, Richard, I think, because sometimes, you know, some people, I would say the vast majority of people have a time in their life or a period in their life or periods in their life where they're going through something that's like stressing them out, and it's going around. I think I'm probably an overthinker, and it goes around and around and around and around and around in my head, and you can't really land on a direction or a decision to actually change that. So sometimes I think, well, rather than change a scenario, you can change yourself, and that will give you a clear view on what you should do. And going on these trips sometimes does that, you know, because I think you check out, like EBC, you check out for 11 days. Yeah. You can literally have no signal. You just no news, no noise, no fuss, no traffic, no people asking you anything. You don't think about the problem. After a while, you don't. Yeah. But then by the end of the trip, you think sometimes the answer to your problems might be obvious.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think because people have so much going on in their lives, and it's, you know, it's natural, isn't it? You've got to be somewhere. Maybe it's work, maybe it's family life, whatever, you know, is going on, commitments and things like that. It's not when you actually take a breath and you have a little think that actually you start thinking about different ways, different thoughts come in. And I think certainly when you have that free space, it can open up a whole world of possibilities.
Exactly, yeah. And it's mad, it is, because, you know, I was chatting to one guy before, a customer, on his way back, and he was saying, you know, that there was, I think it was like stress with money and things like that, and it's tricky. But sometimes you've got to invest in change.
Yeah.
You know, and that might be just getting a gym membership. You know, that might be buying a pair of running shoes and just starting to run.
Yeah.
For some people, and probably for most people watching, because they found EverTrek, it's like an adventure of some kind to disrupt the normal way of thinking and being, and going out there and you see the way another culture lives, the way other people live, and then you come back and you you can gain some perspective, even if it's temporary. You know, it does make a big difference. It's one of the biggest things that's I brought back with me is it's not permanent. Everyone goes by, you know, some people go away, I'm going to change it, I'm going to go throw away my kettle, you know, but like,
there goes the tea.
but actually, but you know, and stuff like that might not last, but the feeling of that deep down knowing that the things that you're stressing about are not that important.
Well, what you said there is exactly, when you go traveling to certain places, it opens your mind to certain things that you normally complain about.
Yeah.
And actually you see how happy people are with not many material possessions, or you know, not very wealthy at all, yet they're, you know, sometimes one of the most happiest people. It's crazy, isn't it? And again, it's kind of does kind of rejig that kind of gauge about, okay, this isn't actually that bad, we can deal with it. You know, there's certain things in life that you can certainly readjust that.
Exactly. And you know, no one's saying it's not like a, you know, an elixir for all life problems, but sometimes, you know, you can gain some perspective, which helps you deal with those problems. If the problems don't go away, but your perspective might change, and you know, at the very least, it'll give you a proper break. But yeah, Diane is much more difficult. Mate, I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But you know what? I think that the example that you were going to lead for your young family, I think, will be something that is, you know, important.
And that's what Diane's done. You know, she inspires everyone around her, not just family, like people as well around, seeing what you're doing. And it's all those, we talked years ago, and you know, I know we're going back a bit now to the beginning. We started off to talk about 2016, but you know, there was a part of my ego back in the day that I was like, oh, if I can do this, maybe I can show my family. And you know, deep down, I wasn't like showy about it, but you know, I think we all post on social media for a reason. We may not understand that reason, but sometimes it's, you know, it's almost like it's memories. You're sharing memories, and hopefully you inspire someone to do it as well. You know, where you go, and sometimes if that's on the summit of Killy, go to Everest Base Camp, you know, and people see there, you're like, fair dues, actually, I'd like to do that as well. And I think that was probably one of the things we connected, because on the way back down, I posted on social media and you commented, oh, Rand, I've always wanted to do this. Hit me up when you get back. And that's how it went.
It's on our emails now, I think. You know, on one of the emails, we actually got a screenshot of that comment. But yeah, particularly with Diane as well, because I think I don't know many people that are as resilient as Diane. You know, I thought that, you know,
agreed,
for a while, just because of the amount of trips that she does, you know, and the training weekends and stuff. But then obviously, you know, with recent circumstances, I don't know many people that can pick themselves up as many times as Diane and still be the same enjoyable person. And that honestly is inspiring. You know, for me personally, I would say.
It is massively, well, for all of us, massively inspiring. Stephen Smurthwaite, Steve, how you doing? Love you guys, the passion you have. I was on the first training weekend in Wales 2018, mate. Steve, that seems like a lifetime ago, but mate, that was great time, and even better seeing you do all of your trips. I try to keep in touch. And the Machu Picchu trip, I know you only recently got back, but yeah, great to hear you had a good time, mate. Memories, as you said, you know, these are really great trips, aren't they? So still lots to do, Steve. Still lots to do, mate. Definitely. It's so nice as well. Thanks, guys. I know we're talking about EverTrek's journey, but you know, you're part of EverTrek's journey as well. So it's great to hear about your experiences and your stories, even if they're painful, because you know, we can all learn from that kind of stuff. And thanks for sharing them in the comments as well. It's really inspiring. Like even Rich there sitting on the step, ding-botching my yak milk. Yak milk. Oof. Some of that is painful. Yeah, I'd say yak milk is a challenge in itself, Rich. So fair dues.
To me, it was the yak cheese.
The yak cheese, is that what it was?
But anyways, it's cheese I can't go near. I don't know what it is. You know, when I go for a trek again, I can't be in the room if someone's eating cheese.
You ate cheese the other night though. Remember with the nuts when we had a barbecue?
Yeah, that was different though. That was different.
Good man.
That was like a little charcuterie board. So that's okay.
It's quite nice, wasn't it? Simon, would love to take the kids to Nepal. Be an amazing life lesson. Stop the can I haves. Yeah, exactly. I know we focus so much on ourselves, don't we? But when we're thinking about our kids and family, and I think opening their eyes as well in terms of, you know, certainly when I take Ellie away, my daughter, and we go different places, I'm hoping she learns something about it in that way. It's not all, can I have this? Can I do that? There is that. There's no doubt we go into a shop.
I was going to say, I've taken Ellie in some places and I've had a bit of that.
Yeah, she likes to shop.
Remember she tucked me up once. Remember when I dropped her off to school? She's actually she's not a naggy kid at all. She's sweet as anything. But I think she knows with me that she can get away with a little bit more.
Yeah.
I looked after her one weekend and I dropped her to school on the Monday. And I was going into a shop to get hay fever tablets. She goes, no, they're not in there, Dave. Come to this other shop. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure they are. She's like, no, come with me. And I was at the counter buying not the hay fever tablets I wanted. And then she comes up.
Was she? Oh, taught her well.
Yeah. And I was like,
just stand next to Dave when he's paying for something.
So I was like, all right, put it on. So then I got it. And then I looked away and I saw her and her friend sharing it extra. I thought, oh, at least she's sharing.
Exactly. Some lovely comments as well. Andy, agree with you both, having traveled the world with the army. It's great to get a worldwide perspective of the adventures from EverTrek, put in an adventurous environment. Also in a safe way. Yeah, thanks guys. Hope to join you on another trip soon. Yeah, definitely, Andy. Great to have you as part of the community, mate. Wherever you're traveling, whether it's military, on your own adventures, it's all great, isn't it? It's all good stuff, mate. It's all good stuff. What else we got? We got Jerome. It's nice, guys. Keep them coming as well. I love these little stories. Journey through rural Nepal to get to Chitwan National Park. Highly recommended. Yes. I think even before EverTrek and I went to Chitwan National Park, I love the place. It was fantastic. I just come from EBC, and it was a really nice kind of opposite end of the spectrum. One, it's warm. Two, it's flat. And there's animals chasing you around this jungle, so it's it's like walking into Jungle Book. It's a very, very beautiful place. Definitely highly recommend it. Made me realize how lucky we are living in the UK and meeting such friendly locals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great stuff. And no worries, Diane. Thanks for your comments as well. I know you've had a lot of challenging times lately, but you don't have to be upbeat. It's all that stuff. It's all part of the process, isn't it? And but great to have you as part of EverTrek as well, mate. So well done.
Yeah.
And Andrew Rooks, I think the foundation you two formed with founding EverTrek has only grown. Take a moment to be proud. Well, we are proud. That's it. We're definitely proud. Get emotional.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest as well. Like there's you see us on the Tuesday tuning, but there's like a whole army of people behind us as well. Like they kind of make it happen. Should probably shout out the entire team.
We wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the entire team.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, because when it was just kind of the two of us chipping away at everything, that was an adventure all on its own, I think. But
well, you learn about it. That's why we started this, because ultimately, we're not always, because we're doing lots of different stuff and trying to move EverTrek forward. We're not here to always pick up the phone or answer emails. Sometimes we do, but obviously it's lots of the team are doing that as well, and they're just as important as us in terms of looking after you guys and making sure that the trips go ahead the way they should.
I'd almost say more important than us now.
They're more important than us,
because you brought Jen in, your lovely wife, who amazing. Forced us against our will to be professionals. It was like guys, just some semblance of a routine might help you actually run a business. And she's Jen was I think a big change, I think, and then Lauren, who makes my life.
Lauren, she's
she does,
making sure people are arriving safely in Killy.
She does, yeah. Like before, when I used to just run the whole operation, like I had my way of doing it, and it did kind of work. And then Lauren came along and it made my life difficult by saying, well, we could do this and we could do that, and then everybody else, Jody on the comments now. Pretty much every week, it was supposed to go around and take turns.
I know she can't help herself.
Yeah, our Jodes.
Jerome said, did anyone here on the TTI go on the very first EBC adventure? If I remember right, it was a guy called Paul, actually. He's still part of the community, but he was he's military, so he pretty much he had time off. He went on the first trip, and I think he went. It was a group of 5 people. The very first.
I thought it was Andrea and.
That was the second one.
That was the second one.
Andrea and her friend. Yeah, we had 2 girls, and then Paul. What's his name? Hawkins. Great guy. But it's definitely evolved now.
Oh, Captain.
That's it.
Yeah,
you remember him?
I remember him now, don't I?
Yeah,
Captain Hawkins.
Paul,
yeah, I remember
2016.
Him. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, lovely guy. Really tight. Great guy. I'd have to drop the message because we were messaging a couple of years back and we just kind of lost touch. But yeah, he's really great guy. He's doing things. He's into loads of stuff, not just trekking. He's a big scuba diver as well.
Yeah.
So he's got to balance those. But yeah, Jerome, we'd love to. But wouldn't it be mad chatting to? I mean, obviously you've got EverTrek's first person that booked in. Exactly, and you went the month after.
I went the month after. Yeah, it was more or less the first.
Because is it? I mean, I know it's different now because you're kind of the other side in a way. But has it changed in terms of the running of the trips?
What?
Because you went in 2016.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't just a customer. You've never been, but at the time to now, like going on a trip now to going on a trip there.
Yeah, it's miles different now. I think now it's when I first went, I think there was still an element of like finding our feet with regards to certain things. When you're new to the game, there's a lot of companies out there that they know about like the look of flights and the delays, and there's a certain quality that starts to emerge once you've been through the mill for a while. And
agreed.
And once so when we first went, our trips were amazing, right? But we hadn't really been tested. And then I think over the years, then we've had like landslides, we've had storms, we've had like monsoon. There was like civil unrest. We've had COVID. There's all sorts of stuff that gets thrown at you. And not just in Nepal. Like there's been a terrible earthquake in Morocco.
Yeah.
Lots of civil unrest in Ecuador and Peru. Cotopaxi blew its lid. There's all sorts of this stuff all the time that happens, and I think there's a certain quality that starts to emerge once you've handled those problems. Every single person has come back home safely.
Yeah.
So now when people go, they probably don't notice that difference.
Yeah.
But behind you is like an army of people that are there just to kind of look out for you. So I think that's what's different from my perspective. It
is interesting, isn't it? Because you are right. Like we didn't get it right in the beginning. We actually had a lot of things that didn't go so well, and I was, and I took it personally at the time, which because at the end of the day, I'm a trekker, I'm a traveler as well. I go out on these trips, and you want to make sure that they're high standard. Even though I was. Historically, I've been backpacking a couple of times in my, I was in my 20s, and so I'm a bit more of probably go with the flow than most people. But actually, for EverTrekkers, I was like, okay, let's raise the bar, because I did notice that things weren't as I wanted them to be done in the beginning, and it was good then that we were able to tweak it and make a difference. And I suppose that this bit is the bit I think that was missing, which was trying to help people before they go. Because people used to turn up, and the trekking stuff is always been pretty good, but I always wanted to make sure that people had the information to do good at altitude.
Yeah.
Because at altitude it can be dangerous, and I was like, I want people to at least have the knowledge that they can manage their body and almost have the right equipment, have the right mind, be fit enough to enjoy it. I mean, obviously you can get away with it in some places, but you don't want to just roll off the couch. Fitness is massively important, and you will enjoy it more. And I think that was the bit that I felt like we wanted to improve.
Yeah.
So that's why we like to think that we brought in all this stuff that hopefully is useful for everyone and is now part of the fabric.
Also, as well, the team out there now.
Yeah.
Like Anuj and his team.
Yeah.
Like most companies tell you that their team is the best in the business. So even if it wasn't true, I would say it. But in this case, I genuinely believe that it is the case. Like Andy says, not everything goes right, and some things, some customers might be a bit annoyed about. There's no way to make adventure travel.
Not every customer's happy, we'd love that, but
I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the aim. You always got to strive for that. But sometimes you can't help that. There's over 8 billion people on the planet. Every single one of them an individual.
Yeah.
And not every trip, every experience is right for every single person, and sometimes you have to look into that, put your hands up when you need to, but the majority of the time, the vast majority of the time, we get it right. And I think that's partly as well due to not partly, but a big part of it is the teams that we have, the guides that we have across the world, their caring approach to kind of getting people there. Like I can tell you that every guide we have in every country takes personal pride in making sure that every customer gets the best and safest experience that they can. you know, it's a point of pride for them to say, you know, I got a group up there and they all made the summit and they all got back down safely, you know.
Well, it is personal pride to them, isn't it? And not just Nepal. I know we're talking a lot about Nepal. We're in Tanzania, in Peru, Morocco, you know, when we're in France, Italy, Switzerland. Well, excuse me. When we're in Pakistan, you know, there's a massive safety element. And Jerome's put there a massive shout out to all our Sherpa porters, especially Vikas Lama, our team leader. Yeah, we had a fair few things go wrong on our trek, and Bikash and his team dealt with every issue. Well, that's great, isn't it? And that's adventure travel. And Jerome, you put it perfectly, really, in terms of, you know, you still massive shout out to the people that were guiding you and looking after you, even when things don't go right. Because you're right, that is adventure travel. I think we're always quite upfront about it, and we don't do that as excuse, like things go wrong, and just because we think they will. It's more like that things can go wrong, and hopefully they don't. But you know, we like to think that the team that we've put together, you know, can essentially make it better for you. So and enjoy it and overcome those challenges. So yeah, Jerome, cheers for that.
Yeah,
it's always good. And like I said, these things happen. You know, it is part of the kind of adventure scene, isn't it? When it makes it more exciting in my mind. I don't know what it is, but you know, I know that years from now I'll be thinking about certain things that didn't go right, and they are the things I remember rather than the things that just went plain sailing. Well, it's a different type of memory.
Yeah,
you know, it is, isn't it?
But also, what I always try, like if I'm talking to a customer and we talk about any of our trips, EBC, Kili, whatever, I always say, look, there's a chance you might fail. And that might be because something goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's outside of your control. You know, so there might be a delay with a flight. There might be, you know, a stomach issue. There might be any type of environmental problem. But that's what makes it exciting, is the fact that you are challenging yourself against not only the task at hand, but also like there's a little bit of rolling the dice on the weather, and there's all of these things that have to go right.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, it's a very tame example of what like Neil Armstrong and that probably went through, you know, like yes, if everything goes right, they'll get up to the moon safely and get back again. But that's not 100% guaranteed. And that's what made that trip exciting. And in a very, very diluted fashion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like signing up for an ultra marathon, right? You're going to run 100 miles through the desert. Well, if you knew you could run 100 miles through the desert and it was 100% guaranteed that everything would go well,
that is true.
What have you achieved?
Yeah,
you know,
that's very true.
If you're not 100% certain you can do it, and it's not 100% guaranteed that everything's going to go well, that's what makes it the challenge. So pitching yourself against adversity is really what these trips are about.
80% of the way there.
Yeah, exactly. But
I love it, Dave.
You know, so that's my thoughts on it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, hey guys, do Machu Picchu in May. Awesome. Next year, do I need heli evac on the insurance? Cheers, guys. Yeah, nice to have a question mark as well. Cheers, mate. No, that's great. Very good.
Yeah.
Nice to have a question from Mark. But no, yeah. Any questions, guys? Do let us know. I know we're talking about EverTrek here, 8 years, but this is what we're here to do. Questions as well. And yeah, with the insurance. So essentially, the insurance needs to cover you up to essentially the height that you'll be traveling. So in Machu Picchu, you're doing the Inca Trail, Mark, is it, or the Tomokaea? The Tomokaea is the highest one, which is 4,900 meters. So as long as your insurance covers you for evacuation from there, certain ones essentially you don't need it in Machu Picchu, if I'm right. I know you need it on like Everest Base Camp. It's different in Peru, right? Or is it
so it's more about the
Inca Trail.
You need, because with Nepal you need the heli back.
Yeah.
And even on like Kilimanjaro and places like that, because there's no possible way to get you down to a safe altitude without that in the case of an emergency. Other trips are that's less the case. You know, there's always ways and means that we can get you down. The most important thing is, that when you do get your insurance, it covers you up to the maximum altitude. A lot of the time they will cover helicopter evacuation insurance anyway, even if it's needed or not needed, because it's part of the policy. And for instance, you know, if someone has a serious injury, needs a helicopter, they'll do what they can.
Exactly. It's just not, it's different to say Nepal, where it's kind of compulsory. You need that helicopter evacuation insurance.
Yeah.
Where, as Dave said, there are scenarios that maybe you might need it in the terrain, but yeah, especially the Inca Trail is very well stocked. So, essentially they'd be able to carry you down, not easily, but easier than say if you were in Everest Base Camp, for example.
Yeah, for instance, like, so the infrastructure around EBC is built around helicopters. A lot of the other trips aren't. So if, for instance, helicopter's not available or that it can't get to you, then there is still ways and means that we can safely get you down if we need to on other trips. Where EBC, it's different.
Good question, though, Mark. It's a really good question, mate. And not long to go. I know it's kind of weird now. We step into September and I'm thinking about Halloween already. I'm thinking about outfits and
you love a fancy dress at Halloween, don't you?
I do enjoy it.
In fact,
it's also my birthday as well in November, so I always look like the feeling of that.
That always reminds me of my last time I went to EBC.
Yeah.
I was at your Halloween party the night, and I had to be at the airport at 6 a.m.
I remember that.
Remember that? So I was like, I had to leave early and lay off the sauce because I was at 6 in the morning. I was at Cardiff Airport flying to Nepal.
We took that off your hands.
Yeah, exactly. You guys seem like you had it covered.
We had it covered. Andy, he's loving all the comments as well. You might not make a summit or a destination, but you've succeeded by starting the adventure. Yeah, you're a winner from the first step.
Agreed.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And Bri, we did the last Killy trip of the season. 4 of us took some of the guides, porters into the local town. I bet that was fun.
Yeah.
For a meal, funniest experience ever after they had a few beers. I bet that was brilliant. They ever show you the banana beer, Bri? You ever had that?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that, Dave, didn't you?
That's a special thing, that is.
When we went out there to Tanzania to kind of meet the team we were kind of going to be working with, this was back 5 years ago now. And essentially, as a little bit of a kind of welcome, some of the porters and guides that we were kind of meeting, and even though the hotel owners and stuff, they didn't know about it, so I don't think they were too happy. But they were like, "Oh, come here!" We don't care. We'll hang out with anyone. And we were like, we went out into the village. Nice, you got it there.
I'm going to get it so we can show everyone.
Is that what it is? And essentially, where the guides and all the porters drink, we were like, "Yeah, let's go for a beer with them in Moshi." And they took us to this. I wouldn't say a bar. It was more like a shed, but it was fantastic. They're all having a beer, and they bring out this kind of giant. I would say, imagine one of those 4-pint kind of milk cartons cut in half, and it was filled with this. It looked a bit like gunge, but it was basically like they called it banana beer. And we were like, as you are when you're welcome and you're given something, you're like, yeah, no worries, I'll have some.
Yeah.
And Dave, you can carry on the story for me.
Yeah. So essentially, it's an acquired taste. It's really it's not beer. It's some form of like grain alcohol, but it's quite thick. And you did the right thing with he sipped
tactically
to make it last.
Yours. I was
so like, at any moment anyone looked over, he had like a mostly full glass, where I just necked mine back. And then the next thing you know, they're like, topping it up. I was like to have two, but my God.
Would you like me to bring the picture in?
Yeah, let's bring the picture in.
It's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. There's some of the porters. They're great. And there's the Dave. That's it next to lovely glass of banana beer there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was strong stuff.
That was strong stuff.
I
got annihilated by mosquitoes that night.
I thought you were going to say I got annihilated.
Yeah, no. Well, no. It was. I think we wobbled back, but we weren't too bad.
It was only a couple.
Yeah.
But it was nice to kind of get to know some of the guide and porter teams, because that was kind of August 2019, and we had our first trips then, the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
Typically, we ran a few trips and then obviously pause for 20 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a bit mad, wasn't it?
Well, pretty much. I think crazy. If our trip might have been the last one, February 2020,
I think it was, yeah,
because we came back, and I remember that there were certain social distancing rules in place.
Yeah.
And then within a month, we were locked down.
Yeah, absolutely mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
No worries, Andy. All the best. We are coming towards the end, not the end of our journey, the end of today's journey. I say it's only been 8 years, and we got plenty of years to go yet. But yeah, we'll be doing obviously Tuesday tune-ins over the month of September. We'll hopefully be bringing some people in as well. We can't promise anything yet, but try and get some special guests. Anyway, we'll do some special stuff for 8 years of EverTrek. But Dave, I mean, I know this is probably the first live we're going to talk about it, but 8 years, mate.
Do you know what? I was just working out in my head. I wonder if we could do 8 years, 8 months, 4 days, 8 hours to get 8848.
Oh yeah.
We should go live at 8848. It's one of the problem is you can't have the 4 because it's 8 years.
Yeah.
Because the 4 would take you up to 9, so it's got to be 4 days. So, yeah.
Tembo, James, how you doing? Long time no see, mate. Drop us a message. It'd be great to hear from you.
Old Tembo.
Come such a long way, I know, mate.
Yeah, mate. We're waiting for the snow to start. We're going to go up to Scotland and do a little trek if you fancy it, mate.
Larry Grew, James, mate, it'd be great to see you again. Well, guys, look, I see we've come to the end of today's live. Hopefully, it's been useful. I know we're just chatting about, EverTrek's journey. Has been an amazing 8 years. Look, thanks for still being part of this awesome community. We feel it's more than just trekking company, even though that's what that's what a lot of what we do. But obviously, the community aspect to it is amazing, and we're going to continue to grow and do awesome things in there as well. Yeah, as Jerome say there, good luck with the British Travel Awards. Exactly, hopefully. There is a link. Definitely vote for us if you haven't voted for us yet. But we'll be back next week, Dave.
Yeah, we'll be back
next week.
I don't think there's any reason why we won't be back next week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I think Andy Howie said it perfect. To be honest,
what did he say?
I'll read his comment because I want to read it again, and it's a good. I don't think I can top it.
Okay.
You might not make the summit or a destination, but you've succeeded by starting the adventure. It's the journey, not the destination. You're a winner from the first step.
Love it, Andy.
I don't think I can top that.
Amazing words.
I don't think I can top that. So yeah, I'll let Andy have it.
Certainly can't top that. So Andy, well done, guys. Have an amazing week wherever you're up to, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Take it easy.
Bye.